Oh, welcome everybody to the mid-season showdown final right here in Southern California. I'm Giovanni Costa, and with me is the one, the only, the most beautiful man in the world, Patrick Smith.
Thank you. Yeah.
So here we are in the finals of the very first mid-season showdown in SoCal, the most prestigious event ever made. Worlds gets second place to this, and we have Shawn Tang versus Mitchell Davies.
Davies. Yeah.
Davies.
Right.
There we go.
Switch the text off. So I believe these people have already played in Swiss, so they do know a little bit about each other's teams.
Yep.
So
this is a
Mitchell
rematch.
did win.
2-0.
Right. Mitchell has not dropped a single set all day long, and here he is in finals. So.
Yeah, he's undefeated with a very interesting team. You want to give a rundown of the teams?
All right. Yeah. So Mitchell's using Rain. He's got like Coco with Rain. That's pretty standard. Cartana. Honestly, like Shawn's team, I don't feel like it has great answers for Rain, but it's definitely not like an auto loss by any means. Like he's got Feeny, he's got Coco, he's got P2. Like
yeah, Feeny's always a good answer for the Rain, but however, the Tapu Koko does threaten it a lot, so it can go either way.
Right. It's definitely gonna come down to like reads, like. You know, Rain is a very offensive archetype. I think. Wait, we don't actually see the Rain. We see Coco Snorlax. Interesting.
Yeah, so Shawn is going to lead with Garchomp and Coco, while Mitchell is going to lead with Coco and the Snorlax here. So, interesting. Shawn's Electric Ring does go up, but we don't know whether or not that's a speed tie or Baby Mitchell's Coco is slower. So, you know, what do you think of the situation so far? Who has the advantage right now?
Okay, so I really didn't expect this lead from Shawn because had Mitchell like Red Rain, like either you're forced to like make like a straight up 50-50 read or you're just like going for trades, and like either way it's like there's no like I don't know, it's just like how do I say this? Okay, anyways, we're not in that situation, we're in this situation. I think it really. Okay, we've seen Taunt on Coco, so like Snorlax maybe can't set up, but it can still threaten with attacks. Like Dazzling Gleam, like return probably just kills Coco, but then Garchomp threatens the Coco, so like Coco probably wants to switch out, but
Yep. So
does he even have great switches like Garchomp? Like not really.
So Shawn is gonna go for a Thunderbolt onto the U-turn from the Tapu Koko onto this Garchomp. Very interesting.
That did damage.
That did okay damage actually.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I didn't expect to do that much damage.
So Tapu Koko is gonna switch out here. It is Life Orb Koko and has U-turn. Very interesting move from Mitchell. Let's see what he's going to switch into. You know, he's going to switch into the Pelipper, so if Shawn went for a Ground DMZ onto that slot, this could be really bad for Shawn. Mitchell making that really good read. So here we go. The Garchomp is going to go for the Z-Tech Rage, but does he go for the Pelipper or does he go for the Snorlax here? This is going to be... These seconds are very important. Oh my god, who does it go for? It does hit the Snorlax, so it does... So Shawn correctly makes the read here, gets the Tectonic Rage onto this Snorlax, and I'm not sure if he'll be able to knock it out, but it will do a lot of damage, and it does not pick up the knockout, so Snorlax is going to go down here. And yeah, so Shawn picking up a lead here, but now the ring is set up for Mitchell, so he can bring something like Golduck here, and but he's bringing Box Cutter. Box Cutter is the Kartana.
Okay.
So very interesting name and a very interesting Pokemon to bring here. I'm surprised he chose not to bring Golduck to this matchup.
That was definitely a great turn one from Shawn. Mitchell really didn't have any great switch-ins for what Shawn went for, and so we got the free KO on Snorlax basically. And I don't know, like what can Mitchell really do? Like.
Well, you know, Kartana is well known for carrying like certain Z moves. I don't know what kind of Kartana this is, but if it's something like Bloom Doom, it could do a lot of damage to this.
So the Pelipper is definitely threatened here, like
quite a bit.
Like Rock Slide, Green, Thunderbolt, anything like that, right?
Oh, but the Pelipper is going to go for the Protect here, so let's see what for what Mitchell decides to do. So Discharge from Shawn is going to hit this Kartana. You know, it's going to do decent damage. Maybe he'll be able to pick up a Paralysis. Ooh, but does not pick up Paralysis. Does very little damage. Garchomp actually goes for the Fire Fang, and this Kartana is actually really slow. Interesting. So the Kartana Box Cutter gets Flinch! Oh my lord! That's very unfortunate for Mitchell. Box Cutter did not get to do anything, aka Kartana.
That's really interesting, the Garchomp outspeeding the Kartana.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Pretty much never see that.
Yeah, and we know it's not a Scarf Chomp because they went for Tectonic Rage, so this Kartana is pretty slow, but it is also very bulky.
Right.
So
It took that discharge very well.
yeah, so here comes another discharge onto this Pelipper. Is going to be able to bring it down to its sash, and the Kartana, it takes quite a bit of damage. Oh man, it does not look good for Mitchell. Fire Fang coming up into the Pelipper slot, so interesting. So no tailwind up for Mitchell, and now Shawn is up 2-4. So Leaf Blade onto this Tapu Koko is not enough to pick up a KO here. Leaves it at about 46. So now it's just, it's not looking good. It's not looking particularly good for Mitchell.
Right. I mean, the Garchomp can just Earthquake. It's faster than the Kartana. It's a physical Koko. What can it do to Garchomp? Like,
I don't know. Maybe it has Brave Bird and it can crit Brave Bird. I don't know.
Maybe.
I actually don't know what this moveset on this Koko is. Very interesting to have U-turn, but Mitchell actually is just going to forfeit. That's, it seems like Shawn, that was a quick game. Shawn made every single read. He made a read onto the Snorlax, so Mitchell was not able to set up.
Right.
He made a read.
He predicted the Pelipper's Protect.
Yeah, he predicted the Pelipper Protect, and but he did get some information out of this. Now we know that the Kartana is slower than the Garchomp, so that's valuable information here for Mitchell.
What adjustments do you think we need to see from Mitchell here?
It's hard to say, Mitchell, I think maybe he just needs to play a little bit more, make the harder reads a little bit. And I think he was playing too safe the majority of the game, and that might have cost him a little bit.
Do you think he would bring Double Duck as a lead here?
I was a little bit surprised, Double Duck seemed like a good lead again in this matchup.
Good.
But, maybe Mitchell did play Shawn earlier, so, he does have info on him that we don't have.
True.
So maybe he led with Ducks on Swiss, and that didn't work out too well for him. But to my knowledge, he did 2-0 Shawn in Swiss, so, I don't know what their set looked like then, but, right now Shawn did win quite convincingly this game one. He got a 4-0.
Right.
So we'll see. Mitchell taking his time to choose his Pokemon. His tournament life is on the balance here. He made it. He drove all the way from NorCal, went undefeated in Swiss. They had not dropped a single game this entire tournament. Made it all the way to the final. So it's it's up for grabs for him. He's been playing so well the entire day, but this is the last game he does need to win.
Right.
And even though the difference in points is not that much, be able to brag that you won the SoCal mid-season is a prestigious thing to be able to brag about.
Yeah. So I think Mitchell definitely needs to bring something for that Garchomp, whether it's the Lele, whether it's Rain, because now that he knows that it outspeeds his Kartana and has Fire Fang, and with a combined attack from Koko can kill Snorlax, that's definitely a huge threat to his team. I think Mitchell definitely has to prepare for that this time. He also didn't get to see any of Shawn's Pokemon in the back.
Yeah.
So, he got swept by Koko Chomp lead.
Yeah, that,
And here we see it again.
And here we go again, the Garchomp and Koko lead versus the Pelipper and Goldaddy.
Right.
A very good name for Golduck.
I think this was to be expected.
Yep. So, we're seeing Garchomp and Koko here from Shawn and and it looks like a better lead in my opinion. Mitchell does have a really good lead here.
So Golduck threatens knockouts on either of these Pokemon. He has Ice Beam that would kill Garchomp. Hydro Vortex would just kill either of these. I'm pretty sure Hydro Pump kills Koko.
In Rain, it should be able to knock it out. So the Garchomp is threatened by this by Goldaddy, and Pelipper, it's free to set up a Tailwind or maybe even go for some damage.
Right.
So we'll see. Shawn is, he did lead this before and it worked out for him. Let's see if it works out again.
Right.
So,
Shawn does have potential switches to Rain. Feeny will take any water moves pretty well.
And Garchomp is going to switch out onto this P2. So if he does go for the Hydro Vortex onto this P2, he's going to do a lot of damage, but he should not be able to pick up a KO here. So it is going for the Hydro Vortex. Who is he going to hit?
You'd have to assume it's onto Koko.
It could go onto if he does make the read onto Koko, but Let's see. You know, he,
The thing is, if Mitchell tailwinds here, I don't think he can stop Porygon from just triggering.
No.
Oh, it's onto the Porygon.
the Porygon 2 is going to take a Hydro Vortex. It's going to take a lot of damage, but it's not enough to pick up a KO here. Thunderbolt going from the Tapu Koko onto this Golduck. It's going to be enough to pick up a KO here. So now let's go see what the Pelipper goes for. Pelipper goes for the Scald onto this Tapu Koko. It's going to do a massive amount of damage, but also not enough to pick up a KO here. Does it get the burn? It does not pick up a burn.
Interesting that he has Scald instead of Brian. If he had Brian, he can threaten a KO into his Porygon right now.
Yeah.
With Scald, that's not going to be the case. I think he would need to double target the Porygon in order to stop it here.
Yeah. But, however, Tapu Lele does come in now, so
Right.
Mitchell, you know, even though he did lose the Golduck, but he still did a good amount of damage here, and, you know, the
Yeah.
Tapu Lele does threaten the Garchomp in the back quite a bit.
Right. No, the Lele should be able to pick up KO into Porygon with Psychic. And then we haven't seen the item on it yet, but if it's something like the Choice Scarf, you can just log into like Gleam and then just Scald.
Yes.
I think Mitchell's definitely in a pretty good spot after that turn one. Although Shawn did pick up a knockout.
But no, Tapu Lele does go for the Dazzling Gleam, so we don't know what it is yet. And Pelipper does go for the Scald into this Porygon too, so it is gonna get knocked out. So now Mitchell brings it back. You know, it's 3-3, and you know, if I don't know what the item is on Tapu Lele, but if it is a Choice Scarf, then you know this Koko is not gonna be able to do anything before.
But I think this mug poses a huge threat for Mitchell. Like, as I was looking in team preview, Mitchell really doesn't have any great answers for mug. Like if he has Koko in the back, then he just can't switch in at all. Like he just. I don't know, like Kartana is okay against Mug, unless it has like Flamethrower, but then if he has Kartana, it's kind of threatened by like Koko and then
But
the Garchomp, which outspeeds it.
you know, if it is a Scarf Lele like we think it is, then he could go for a Dazzling Gleam here onto this Koko and pick up a KO, and the Pelipper would be free to set up a Tailwind,
That's great.
and then whatever is in the back could potentially win the game for Mitchell. So Tapu Lele is the Choice Scarf, is going to go for the Dazzling Gleam. Is it enough to pick up a KO onto this Tapu Koko? It is. So knockout onto this Tapu Koko. Buck is going to eat its berry. It's going to recover most of its health back. It's going to be almost at full again. Buck is going to go. Pelipper does go for the Tailwind, so now Mitchell does have the speed control for the next 3 turns. Poison Jab from the Muck, hitting the Tapu Lele. Is it enough to pick up a KO? It is. It does pick up a KO. What a critical hit. That's very unfortunate for Mitchell.
I think Lele lives though.
That's
Yeah,
not.
you're right.
I mean, if it's Scarf, you know, it probably can be EV'd out. And here we go. Box Cutter is back at it again.
Okay.
So now we have Kartana and Pelipper staring down this Garchomp and this Muck. The Muck is at full HP now, so it does.
It has Consume its Berry though.
It has consumed its berry.
I think Mitchell's still in the command position. I think
Yeah, Mitchell still has the speed control, which is very
what
important.
Shawn needs to do is get the read right basically on who he targets. I feel like Mitchell probably doubles into one of these moments, and I think Shawn has to call it if he wants a chance at winning this.
Yeah, so it more or less comes down to this turn. It's almost like another 50-50. We already seen 3 of these in these between top 4 and finals. And that's what VGC 17 is all about, those lovely 50-50s. So let's see. Box Cutter is going to go for the Leaf Blade onto this Garchomp. Is it enough to pick up a KO? Does not pick up a KO. That took it pretty well, actually.
That is very bulky.
That is very bulky indeed.
I don't know if the Skull is going to be able to...
Scald onto this Garchomp. It is enough to pick up a KO onto the Garchomp. So Mitchell Davies looking pretty good here.
Davies. Yeah, is Pelipper coming through for Mitchell right there?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a damage roll or I mean, I guess it's just strong.
Yeah.
Wait,
I mean,
that's where having Scald over Brian definitely saved him there.
Yeah.
So.
You know, if he had Brian, I doubt that he would have been able to pick up a KO here.
Right.
Buck is going to go for that Protect, but
Stalling out the rain, I guess.
yeah, it's a smart play. Smart Strike from the Kartana into this Muck. So now Rain is out, so Pelipper, damage is greatly reduced.
Right. I think if he can live Smart Strike and 2 Scalds and has Flamethrower, Muck can win this. But
Wow, that's a lot.
I mean, he also has to not get burned, not get crit.
Yeah. So Smart Strike coming out onto this Muck. That's a lot of damage. Scald
Yeah.
from this, it's gonna do a little more damage.
Yeah, no.
And the burn. Not that that matters at this point. Poison Jab
Right.
going into this Pelipper, but this game is over unless a miracle happens, and I don't see a Dragonite on screen.
I think you used that one last time. But alright. So well played by Mitchell. I mean, like I said, I think Shawn really needs to protect the Garchomp that turn. I think.
Yeah, if he called the read, if let's say Garchomp went for protect there, and like he went for a knockoff onto the Pelipper, that could have been a really good position for him.
Right.
But instead, and Chemo pointed out that those aren't 50-50s, but if the Garchomp did protect that turn, it would have been a 50-50. So, Chemo.
No, I think it was a 50-50 because we saw what happened when Shawn didn't protect. Like,
Yeah.
He lost.
If he had called the protect.
Like, he had to call the protect.
Yeah. If Mitchell called the protect wrong here, and let's say like the Muck was able to get a knockoff into the Pelipper, that game could have been very different.
Right.
Also a little bit surprised. I mean, maybe Shawn does know what the Kartana item is, but that last turn he could have gone for maybe a knockoff onto. He knew he was gonna lose, so he could have gone for maybe a knockoff onto this Kartana just to know what item it holds, instead of trying to.
I think he pretty much knows it's all this because we did see discharge onto it.
That's true. But we also saw that Kartana did was slower than Garchomp.
Yeah,
so
it was
could be
slower
really
and
cool.
it really didn't do that much damage. This could be a very low control.
Yeah. So here we go.
Just forgot to EV it. I mean,
Maybe, crazier things have happened. So here we go, the final game of the mid-season showdown here in Southern California. Mitchell does choose his Pokemon, so he knows what he wants to use. So it's up to Shawn to figure out how does he adjust to this. How does he adjust to the rain lead?
Right. So he brought Garchomp game 1. It ended up being a very valuable mod for him. And then game 2, Mitchell brings Scarflare and Rain mode, so that very much
It wasn't as good.
hampers Garchomp's ability there.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. It's almost like Rock Paper Scissors, like who brings what. Like you have to counter what they bring, and if you don't, then you just.
And that's what VGC 17 is all about. Bringing stuff to counters or hacks your opponent. So here we go. GoDaddy and Pelipper as a lead from Mitchell. While Shawn is going to lead with the Tapu Koko and the Garchomp. So both same leads for both players.
Going with the tried and true strategy.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting that Shawn decided to go with the same lead, Mitchell, he got the better end of last game, and he was able to, just not allow that Garchomp to do much. But, maybe he knows something I don't. So, right now the Pelipper and the Golduck is, it provides the Golduck can pick up a KO onto whoever he wants right now, except for P2.
Right. And I think the P2 is a pretty big problem for him because, this is a very interesting play.
Mitchell goes for Mitchell does go for a protect with the Garchomp. Tapu Koko is going to go for a discharge. It's going to hit that Pelipper. It's going to activate the Focus Sash. It's going to be very interesting to see who gets the better end of this one. And the Pelipper does survive on the Focus Sash. Does it get fully paralyzed? It does get a paralyzed. That is not good for Mitchell. The Pelipper does go for the Scald onto this Tapu Koko. It's going to do a lot of damage. Does it pick up the burn? It does not pick up a burn. So...
Alright, so I think the protect Golduck play usually works when you expect, we're gonna protect, they're either gonna they're gonna target Golduck. You expect that. But when he has discharge, which covers both Golduck and Pelipper, then it's a less great play.
But we have seen that this is not a life orb Koko, so I wonder if discharge would be able to pick up KO onto the Golduck here.
In Electric Train, I believe so.
I know he can do it in Life Orb, but I'm not sure if he can. Depending on the.
No, actually, yeah, it might not.
Yeah. So, the Pelipper getting paralyzed, it's very unfortunate for Mitchell. So it's heavily threatened right now. So Tapu Koko is going to switch out for the P2. Let's see if Mitchell does get that read. Oh, Mitchell does go for the Z move. I would assume that he's going to go for the Garchomp. Otherwise, why waste a Z move onto a Koko that's already going to get knocked out by just about anything? So, maybe I could be wrong here.
Maybe he wanted to either punish a switch in or like guarantee the kill.
Yep. So the Mitchell correctly identifies that Garchomp is a threat. Garchomp is going to get knocked out here by this very powerful Hydro Vortex. So Pelipper does get a Scald off. The Paralyze not bothering this Pelipper whatsoever. Does a good amount of damage to this Porygon too. Does not pick up a burn, however. So now, Shawn made, he got the better end in turn 1, but now it's not as good.
Right.
Because, he did lose that Garchomp. It didn't do anything the whole game, just protected and went bye-bye. And now the Pelipper in the Golduck, is putting quite a bit of offensive pressure here.
Right. But I mean, Shawn does have P2 Muck in, and like a double target may be able to kill Porygon. I don't know.
If he had Brine, I would say yes, but since we have seen Scald, I highly doubt that. Unless maybe he had Brine and Scald and no Hurricane.
Right. I think.
But Mitchell's not a bad player.
Shawn gets up Trick Room here. He will be in a pretty commanding position because, I mean, Kartana is probably in the back, but like against P2 Muck. It's not going to do like a whole lot.
Shawn is almost running. He ran out of time. Did he run out of time?
I saw his 0, but...
Ooh, Golduck goes for the Ice Beam onto this P2. Is it going to pick up a freeze? Let's see. It does not pick up a freeze. The Poison Jab...
Oh, he's faster than the...
Well, because of the Paralyze.
Right, but still...
Yeah. So this P2 is probably going to set up a... Oh, no, it goes for Recover. Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting play there from Shawn. I thought for sure that he would go for
Trick Room.
Trick Room, but maybe he's afraid that Snorlax is in the back for Mitchell.
Right.
But here comes Box Cutter back at it again, cutting boxes. Both players have burned their Z. No, I don't think Shawn has burned his Z move yet, but the Garchomp is dead, so wouldn't be able to do anything. This Kartana may be Assault Vest. We have not confirmed it yet, but I would assume so.
Have we seen the Porygon, whether it has Thunderbolt or not? Because
we have not seen it
could
yet.
also be pretty big.
Yeah. So here we go. This is a very important turn, but I don't think Mitchell is going to be able to pick up a KO into neither of these Pokemon, no matter what happens. But, maybe you can go for a freeze. Maybe that's what he was going for with the Ice Beam on the previous turn. So Mitchell taking his time. Ice Beam again from the Golduck, going to this P2. He needs to pick up this freeze to prevent the Trick Room from being set up, but it does not. Sacred Sword from hitting this P2 does a good amount of damage, but not enough. Knockoff coming out from this Muck into the Kartana. We'll finally figure out what item it is. It is the Assault Vest, like you predicted, and Trick Room does go up.
This is huge. I don't know if Mitchell was thinking he needed a freeze to win or something, because he has Scald, which definitely does more damage than Ice Beam, but
yeah, especially in rain and stab.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting play from Mitchell. I mean, maybe he is going to try to get that freeze, but I feel like he could have. He had a better he had better odds by not going for that.
So I believe the Porygon has a special attack boost. It was sent in against Ducks, right? So that
I'm not sure. Is Pelipper
I think if it wanted to, it could have picked up the KO onto Kartana, but it goes for the safe recover.
It goes for the safe recover, but this could be bad. Smart Strike coming out onto this Muck. It's gonna do quite a bit of damage.
May be able to kill Muck here.
Golduck goes for the Scald onto this Muck. Is it enough to pick up a KO? It survives with 24 HP. It does get the burn, but is gonna activate the berry, and now. And now this is not looking particularly great for Mitchell. Rain does run out, so Golduck's damage is limited. And Electrain does go down as well. So now P2 is almost at full health again. This Kartana no longer has the Assault Vest, so it is threatened by this Porygon 2. And the Golduck is now at half health, so it's not gonna be able to. It's not gonna be around for much longer.
Right. Yeah, I think that burn was definitely big, because otherwise, it's just Poison Jab, Ice Beam.
Yeah.
You can just clean up basically, but Okay, Shawn still preserved his Coco, remember? So, like,
Yeah.
now that Softness is gone and now that Rain has run out, Coco definitely threatens both of us.
Yep.
And so, I think it really comes down to what Mitchell has in the back. Whether
Exactly.
He can win this game or not.
You know, but this Muck needs to be able to survive the next couple of turns. Otherwise, Coco is going to come in, and he has taken quite a bit of damage. Box Cutter is going to come out for the Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele, you know, the threat to Tapu Lele is this Muck. However, this Muck is burned, so it's not going to be able to do that much damage. Ice Beam coming out from this Porygon 2 into this Tapu Lele. It's going to do quite a bit of damage. Wow, it does quite a bit. It does not pick up a freeze, however. Knockoff from the Muck, and it knocks off the Choice Scarf. Hydro Pump coming out onto this Muck. Is it going to be able to pick up a KO? It does not pick up a KO. Oh.
That was a great play from Shawn. I mean, once Trick Room runs out, Discharge Coco sweeps.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. Unless Kartana can somehow live, but...
Yeah, and you know, now that this Tapu Lele does have Choice Scarf, so it most likely does not have Protect.
Well, it got knocked off. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, so it does not have Protect. So now, you know, Shawn is sort of free to just double up into that slot.
Yeah. It's looking like Shawn has this. I just don't see... I don't think Mitchell has the resources to be able to take out Porygon and then also do Coco. I think Coco just wins.
Yeah, I mean, Trick Room is about to run out, and I don't know how this Tapu Lele can... I don't know what Mitchell can do, but maybe he has, you know, maybe it's a strategy that I have not seen yet. Ice Beam coming out from the P2, going into this Tapu Lele. Is it enough to pick up a KO here? It is! So if this Muck goes for a knockoff now, it does, which it does. It's going to do some damage to this Golduck. Not a lot because it's burned and it's not hold an item because of the Z move. And it's called coming into this Porygon 2. Does it pick up a burn? It does not. So now Mitchell has to deal with a Muck, a P2, and a Coco with a Golduck that's pretty much dead. A P2 that can Ice Beam it. And
I mean, I think Shawn just has
knocked
to
out.
ship the Kartana a little bit more, just to, like, guarantee that Discharge kills. And, like, I don't think Mitchell can take 2 knockouts here. Like,
I mean,
Sacred Sword crit.
maybe somehow this Kartana could survive an Ice Beam, but I don't know. And
Right, but like any damage will for sure put it into Coco. Right?
yeah, Kartana is not.
Oh, and
It's
Trick
going to
Room
take an
still,
Ice Beam.
so
Yeah,
it's-
Trick Room is going
it's-
to.
so-
Kartana does survive! Is it enough to pick up a KO? No, but the knockoff does pick up the KO. So now it's going to be Golduck. Golduck does go for the Ice Beam, but with the Coco in the back, this game is pretty much over for Mitchell.
Unless Shawn like misclicks and like thunderbolts himself.
Yeah, the only
like,
way
it's-
that I think the only way that Mitchell can win is if the store catches on fire and then we all have to run out.
Right.
But I don't see that happening. So yep, Shawn Tang is gonna be our mid-season showdown winner for the first Los Angeles or SoCal mid-season. What do you think of this game, Patrick?
I think it was very well played, both players. It's very close. You know, Shawn losing the first match, he won the first match, losing the second match, and pulling it together again for the third match. I don't know, like he lost him in Swiss, but then he got it together. He came up with a game plan. He led Champ Coco every game, and it worked out for him. Like he figured out the mods that he needed to bring, what he needed to do, and he's our winner.
Yep, he did win. He's gonna be able to take 50 points home with him, as well as
Giant Lego box.
the mega duple blocks Gyarados thing. I don't know.
I'm sure he's gonna enjoy putting together those 352 pieces.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Fun.
Brother, you didn't offend me.
But that's gonna be it for today. Patrick, thank you so much for commentating with me.
I didn't think about it.
Thank you for commentating with me.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time,
I was
peace.
joking too. I should have just kept going.
Later.
On the pizza.